missing one of the characteristics, right? He got two of them, but he don't chew the cud, sisters and brothers. So what the Lord said about it?
He is unclean unto you.
So it can't be the new white meat. People try to make it look all nice and like you getting a deal when you go get, you go buy you a pack of pork chops for $5 off. Look, you buying something that God has forbidden, sisters and brothers. The Lord said he is unclean unto you. What else he say? Keep reading.
Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcasses shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you.
So that's what the Lord laid out so far as the cattle is concerned. Now he's going to go a little bit further. We're going to look at what's forbidden inside the water. Go ahead and read.
These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
Okay, so he makes it a little easy, makes it a lot easier for you, when it comes to you having to pick out what you can eat out of the water, sisters and brothers. He says here, these shall ye eat of all that in the waters, whatsoever have fins and scales, right? That's what it has to have. Does crab have fins and scales?
No.
Does catfish have fins and scales? No. They don't have it, right? They might have fins, but they ain't got scales. They have to have both of them, not either or, right? So it say, look, these shall ye eat of all that in the waters, whatsoever have fins and scale in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. So no matter where you are, you don't even have to live by the beach. Whether rivers that are close to you, lakes that are close to you, look, you have to abide by what God has set up. Keep reading.
And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. They shall be even an abomination unto you.
So you're not supposed. So if they don't have fins and scale, the Lord say what? They're an abomination, right? Right. So you're not supposed to partake in that at all. And we have to read what's in the Old Testament first before we go to the New Testament. Because the way God is laying this stuff out, sisters and brothers, by the time you get to the New Testament, you would have to lie your way out of not keeping the dietary law. And that's exactly what's going on. People are lying their way into eating that abominable stuff, sisters and brothers. They're taking scripture and, flipping it around to try to make it mean what it don't mean. And we're going to look at that today just to clarify, because God didn't change the dietary law. Like you would think, the way he's gone into it, because we're going to even go to Deuteronomy, we're going to see that he going to even address it some more, sisters and brothers. But all the energy or all the time that God has put into laying this dietary law out here, you would think that he would use that same energy to take it off the table. And he didn't, because it's still good. But man is the one that's lying about this, sisters and brothers. So what verse are we at?
Verse 11.
Verse 11. Go and read it.
They shall even be an abomination unto you. You shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcasses an abomination.
That's right. Keep reading.
Whatsoever have no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you.
Okay, so now I don't know if y'all remember. I was raised in Jacksonville, Florida. So, and some of y'all might have been raised by the water, but I remember coming up when I was small. My uncles and my father and grandfather and stuff like that, they go fishing. And I remember clearly when my dad used to take us out fishing, he would catch a catfish and throw it back in the water. And I always wonder, why are you throwing that fish back in there? And I don't even think he knew. He might have knew, but one thing I do know, I ain't that old where I can't remember. They threw them fish back in the water, catfish back in the water. Then later on down the line, when grace came into the picture, they started keeping the fish. So now that I'm in the Word, I'm realizing so they were kind of holding, they were kind of going by the dietary law. That just go to show you how it talks about, you can have a little bit of light and you go take it to the preacher, and what he do, he just put that light out. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine you coming into the Word, you go talk to your preacher about some new stuff you just learned about the Word, and he just say, look, nah, we don't live by that no more. You ain't even got to worry about that. And they just kill it. Well, that's what that grace doctrine has done. Because the preachers now, they don't understand really what grace is talking about. So whatever they were holding on to back in the day, it's all gone now. And if you don't remember about how they did with the fish, I know some of y'all definitely remember how back in the day the women used to wear those little small, like I call them little, like placemat holders or tablecloths, little baby tablecloth. They put them on their head back in the day. I don't know what they call, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Because they had some type, you know, they knew back then that women were supposed to cover their hair, right? Nowadays, hey, that's all out the window. But that's what happened with Grace. But I remember, though, how they would throw the fish back, and one of the ones they threw back, it was catfish, sisters and brothers. But he said, look, they shall be even an abomination unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcasses in abomination. Read 12 again.
Whatsoever have no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you.
So now let's skip down to verse 45 and read that. 45, go ahead.
For I am the Lord that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt, to be your God. Ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy.
Now look at what the Lord is saying, sisters and brothers. Because, you know, if we want to be holy, we want to be like God, like this is one of the characteristics, ain't it? This is one of the requirements, isn't it?
Right.
He said, for I'm the Lord thy God. I'm the Lord that bring you up out of the land of Egypt to be your God, right? He said, ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. So you cannot be holy eating pig. You can't be holy eating crabs, catfish, shrimp, you know, all the different things that God, you know, told us not to eat. Look, there's no way you can be holy. How are you going to be close to God eating unclean food? And everybody, you know, a lot of people call themselves holy and sanctified and stuff like that, but forget about what the Lord has put out here. You know, something you can measure your holiness by. You can measure by the dietary law, can't you? Read that verse again. What it say?
For I am the Lord that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt, to be your God.
Go ahead.
Ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy.
All right, so go on and read 46. That ain't in here, but just read that. What it say?
This is the law of the beast, and of the fowl, and of every living creature that moveth in the waters, and of every creature that creepeth upon the earth.
Right, but it's a law, ain't it? It's a law, sisters and brothers, that God has given himself. He said, look, this is the law of the beast and of the fowl, because he going to even include some birds in there and stuff like that. Then he said, of every living creature that move in the waters, and of every creature that creep upon the earth. What else? 47.
To make a difference between the unclean and the clean, and between the beast that may be eaten and the beast that may not be eaten.
Right, so when you go in the store to, you know, pick out your food, your meats and stuff like that, you know you can't get the swine, right? Then you look at a cow, a goat, and stuff like that, you'll be able to see they fit all these characteristics. You know, same with the fish, sisters and brothers. They would have to have scales and fins on them. So now let's go over to Deuteronomy 14. Obeying God's meal plan. Real simple, sisters and brothers. But at the same time, for some people, it's hard to let go of these things that God forbid us to eat, sisters and brothers. Like I was telling y'all a few months ago, saw Boosie online, a rapper from Louisiana. He mainly cussed God out. It was amazing what he did. He's like, you mean to tell me if I'm hungry, I can't eat no pork? He's like, man, forget that, but use the other word. Forget that. I eat pig, people, whatever it is, and if you know, if I can't, if God don't want me to, no, he said, God got to take care of me. And he said, if God don't want me eating that, he said, this is what I do. I tell God, come here, God, come here. And he shot a bird. He said, now go on now shoot. And I'm just like, man, mankind is crazy. Mankind, we are nuts, man. We don't understand who we're dealing with. But if God told you not to eat something, he'll provide. And if he don't provide, we'll just be willing to die then. I mean, you want to burn in the lake of fire over some pig? I mean, think about that. Because that's a part of his law, statutes, and judgment. We saw it's a law, right? So you don't want that to end up putting you in the lake of fire, sisters and brothers. But Deuteronomy 14, read verse 3. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing.
So we saw what was abominable, what was an abomination, and we just going to reiterate it looking at this. He said, thou should not eat any abominable thing. Go ahead and read.
These are the beasts which ye shall eat.
Right, because when we were in Leviticus, right, it just kind of told us whatsoever chew the cud, part the hoof, and cloven footed, right? It didn't describe it, but now, so you don't have any reason to mess up, he going to break it down even further for you. So what he going to say? Verse 4.
The ox.
All right, so he say, these are the beasts which he shall eat. He say what? The ox, right? So we know that's in the cow family, right? Bull family, all that, right? He say the ox, right? Go ahead and read. What else?
The sheep.
The sheep. So he telling you. He helping us out, ain't he? Because you can't be like, Lord, I didn't know. I didn't have no animals. I didn't know. You like, look, fool. I put it in the Bible. Don't play me. Don't try to be slick. And there's a lot of these animals that are around, sisters and brothers. The Lord put a lot of them out here so we can, obey his law. He said, look, these are the beasts which he shall eat, the ox and the sheep. What else?
And the goat.
And the goat. Keep reading.
The hart.
Uh-huh.
The roebuck.
Uh-huh.
And the fallow deer.
Keep reading.
And the wild goat.
So the wild goat, but before that, he listed everything in the deer family, didn't he? Mm-hmm. You see those run around. Matter of fact, you see a lot of them dead on the side of the road, be getting hit by cars on the highway. But they here. They all over the place. He said the wild goat and the pygarg. What else?
And the wild ox.
Uh-huh.
And the chamois.
Mm-hmm.
And every beast that parteth the hoof.
Uh-huh.
And cleaveth the cleft into
Uh-huh.
2 claws.
Go ahead.
And cheweth the cud among the beasts that ye shall eat.
Right. So now he even kind of broke it down a little bit for you when it come to cloven footed. And, as far as the foot is concerned, how you can, identify. He say, look, every beast that part the hoof and cleave the cleft into 2 claws and chew the cud among the beasts that shall ye eat. But this is God breaking everything down because, like I said, our forefathers around that time, they had cattle and stuff. But since we don't today, you still can look it up on your phone. I did that this morning, looking at the camos and the pygarg and stuff like that and see what the Lord was talking about. They clean animals. But you can do the same. It's easy. If you want to serve God, it's easy. Go ahead and keep reading. What else to say?
Nevertheless, these shall ye eat. These shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud, or of them that divideth the cloven hoof.
Uh-huh.
As the camel, and the hare, and the coney, for they chew the cud, but divideth not the hoof. Mm-hmm. Therefore they are unclean unto you.
That's right.
And the swine, because it divideth the hoof, and yet cheweth not the cud, it is unclean unto you.
Uh-huh.
Ye shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcass.
That's right. Keep reading.
These ye shall eat of all that are in the waters. All that have fins and scales shall ye eat. And whatsoever have not fins and scales ye may not eat. It is unclean unto you.
Right. So we don't have to, God don't really have, he don't have to go into every unclean thing that's in the water. Like he don't got to go into oysters. He don't have to go into mussels. He ain't got to go into jellyfish and octopus. You know what I'm saying? You catch something in the water, it don't got scales and fins on it. Okay, well, I can't eat that, right? That's real simple, though. That's very simple. So it got to have both of those, scales and fins on it. All right, go ahead and read. Now he's going to go into the bird family. What'd he say?
Of all clean birds ye shall eat.
Uh-huh.
But these are they which ye shall not eat.
Uh-huh.
The eagle, and the ostrich, and the osprey, and the glede, and the kite, and the vulture after his kind.
Right. So and now we've seen those. You've seen the eagle. You've seen a ostrich. Like he landed out here, sisters and brothers. Ossifrage, osprey, the glede. I don't know what that is, but hey, I'm sure we don't eat it because all we mainly eat is what?
Chicken.
Chicken and turkey. We don't go around eating duck, do we? Mm. So it say, look, y'all racist. He's saying the glede and the kite and the vulture after his kind and every raven after his kind. Go ahead and read.
And the owl, and the nighthawk,
Uh-huh.
and the cuckow, and the hawk after his kind, the little owl, and the great owl, and the swan,
Uh-huh. So you know the swan. You might have seen the swan, but you can't eat those. What else?
and the pelican,
Uh-huh. Can't eat pelicans. Keep reading.
and the gear eagle, and the cormorant, and the stork, and the heron after her kind, and the lapwing, and the bat,
Uh-huh. Because you can't eat no bat either. Keep reading.
and every creeping thing that flieth is unclean unto you. They shall not be eaten.
Go ahead.
But of all clean fowls ye may eat.
Right, so you have clean fowls that you can eat, sisters and brothers, and that's what we eat. But I just wanted to show you like how God, like he even, put the animal out there for you. He explains it in Leviticus 11 also, which we didn't read, but I just want to come here to show you like he even named the animals for you. So we can do what's right. What else you say? That's it on that?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so now let's move a little further. Let's go to Leviticus 17. Leviticus chapter 17. And a lot of the problems that we have, sisters and brothers, not all of our illnesses and ailments are caused by what we eat, but a lot of them are, and that's why you have doctors saying stuff like, don't eat this and don't eat that, because they're not good for you. But we could prevent a lot of that if we just start off doing it right in the first place. Because these things are not supposed to be, we're not supposed to consume these things, sisters and brothers. And he telling you, the one that created this man, know what's good for this man, letting you know what it is you can put in your body. So Leviticus 17, start this at verse 10. Go and read that.
And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, that eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eateth blood,
Keep reading.
and will cut him off from among his people. For the life of the flesh is in the blood.
Okay, so now, you shouldn't be going to Steak and Ale, an Outback Steakhouse, a Longhorn, and ordering your steak medium well. You need to cook that all the way, okay? Well done. Right? So if you like steak that got, you like it medium well and you can squeeze and the blood come out of it, you don't need to eat that. He said, look, and whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel or of the strangers that sojourn among you that eat any manner of blood. Any manner of blood. That's why we, barbecue and stuff like that, we be trying to make sure it's good, don't we? You mess around, you be out there barbecuing and you be ready to eat it, and you break that wing open, you be like, oh man, it's red. Hey man, you go and put it back on the grill. Because we know we're not supposed to eat that, right? So he says, Israel and the stranger, one law for all, sisters and brothers, that sojourn among us, that whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel or other strangers that sojourn among you that eat any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eat blood and will cut him off from among his people. You see that? What else to say? Verse 11.
For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your soul. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul.
Right, so in this case right here, you offering up a sacrifice. Hey, that belonged to the Lord. Leave that alone. But we're going to look even further down the line. It's going to say it again. Because you're not supposed to be eating that blood, sisters, eating that. They try to glorify it with Vampire Diaries and stuff like that. And look, there's nothing good about that. That's how you know it all come from Satan. Because what God tell you to do, Satan tell you to do opposite, don't he?
Right.
So that's how you can identify who you're following. Flip over to Genesis chapter 6 because that's where we at?
I'm going to finish at 12.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, finish it for me.
Therefore I said unto the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood, neither shall any stranger that sojourneth among you eat blood.
Right, so in this case, because what was the atonement, he let them know, that's why I say, therefore I said unto the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood, neither shall any stranger that sojourn among you eat blood. So now let's go over to Genesis 6. Genesis chapter 6. And from the beginning, sisters and brothers, which we're going to come back to Genesis later on when we get toward the end. But we first started off, we were mainly eating the fruits and vegetables and stuff like that from the trees that the Lord had set up for man to, that was our meal plan back then. But now we're going to go into how or even why the Lord going to introduce us now to eating meat. Because some people even today still live by that. Some people feel like, we can't eat meat. You ever talk to somebody, you tell them, well, man, I don't eat pork, and I don't eat that stuff the Lord told us not to. And then they go off into, I don't think we need to eat beef either. You're like, huh? I'm not talking. It be people that's not in the Word, and they be trying to sound like, I guess they try to make themselves righteous or something, or they try to make it seem like, I'm a part of what y'all doing. No, listen, man. I said I don't eat pork. I ain't said nothing about beef. They was like, I don't think we need meat at all, man. I think I'm gonna just go back to eating vegetables. Like, just stop. That ain't what God said. Because we had that opportunity at first, and then later on down the line, look, the Lord, now He gonna open it up where we can eat animals, but He's still gonna give us the ones we can and cannot eat. But let's see how this happened. And later on, we're going to go back to Genesis 2, where He laid it out for Adam. But Genesis chapter 6, and let's pick this up at verse 12. Most of us have heard this story about Noah and the ark. So we're just going to skim through it. Genesis 6 and verse 12. Read that for me.
And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence, though them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth.
Right, so now the Lord is going, He talking to Noah, and what He going to do is He going to lay out for Noah what he need to do is regarding building the ark and stuff like that, because he finna flood the whole world, sisters and brothers. World done got bad, kind of like it is now. I think I posted something on Facebook yesterday where they this Black Lives Matter movement, they were saying that you were homophobic or something like that if you haven't slept with every sex.
What?
I'm like, man, these people getting crazy, man. They're really going, but I mean, just imagine how it was during Lot time. The Lord said it's going to be like that when He returned anyway, just like during Lot's days. But we moving fast, sisters and brothers, picking up just like it was back then. But instead of the Lord using water this time at the end, He's going to use fire. But at this time, during Noah's time, He used water to destroy mankind and all flesh on the earth. And He told Noah what to do as far as building the ark, because He's going to allow him to live, sisters and brothers. So pick it up at verse 17. What'd He say, brother?
And behold, I, even I, do bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is in the earth shall die.
Right, so this is why the ark had to come in the picture in the first place, because the Lord is finna flood the whole earth. What is it say in verse 18?
But with thee will I establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons, and thy wife, and thy sons' wives, with thee.
Right, so out of everybody that was around during that time, the Lord is only going to save 8 people. Noah and his wife, and Noah got 3 sons. That make 5, right? And all 3 of these sons, all 3 of them have a wife. So out of all the people that were around during that time, only 8 souls were saved. But go ahead and read. What else it say?
And of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark, to keep them alive with thee. They shall be a male and a female.
Keep reading.
Of fowls after their kind, and the cattle after their kind, of every creeping thing of the earth after his kind. 2 of every sort shall come unto thee, to keep them alive.
Okay, so now, most of us have heard the story about the animals going in 2 by 2, right? Okay, and that's where it usually stops at. I can't remember those books, those blue Bible books back in the day. I think they came in volumes of 12, little Bible story books. And they would have, and I think the first one, it had the story of Noah. And it had the animals, and they had pictures in those little story books. And they had pictures, and they had animals going in, 2 by 2, going into the ark. 2 by 2, sisters and brothers. That's all we knew about. But it's a little bit more to it than that, because the Lord is going to even separate the clean and the unclean during this time. So let's look a little bit more into that. Let's go over to Genesis 7. And Noah is now getting ready to go into the boat, and let's see how the Lord is going to separate the animals. Genesis 7, and pick it up at verse 1. What does it say, brother?
And the Lord said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark. For thee have I seen righteousness before me in this generation. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by 7.
Okay, wait a minute now. We got a difference, don't we? Because he said 2, and you're going to take 2, but between the clean and the unclean, when it comes to clean animals, you're going to take 7 females, and you're going to take 7 males. So it's still 2. You still got one that can mate with each other, right? But I didn't know anything about this. I didn't hear about this. All we just heard about, we just coming up even in the church as I got older, we just knew it was 2 by 2. That's it. But now, in Genesis, in the beginning, before we even get to Leviticus, right, we see that some animals are already deemed as clean, correct? So he says, look, of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by 7s. Go ahead and read.
The male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by 2, the male and his female.
That's right. So look, the male, the ones that are unclean, you're going to take 2 of them, male and female. That's it, right? All right, so now, keep reading. What else to say?
Of fowls also of the air by 7s, the male and the female, to keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth.
Right, so we even got some fowls that were considered clean back then, right? But this is before we got to Leviticus, sisters and brothers. So this just let you know, if it was good way in the beginning, it has to be good now, right? So skip down to verse 8 and read that.
Of clean beasts, and of beasts that are not clean, and of fowls, and of everything that creepeth upon the earth, there went into unto Noah into the ark, the male and the female, as God had commanded Noah.
But I just wanted you to see here that you had clean beasts back then, you had unclean beasts. And this is when the Lord is getting ready to destroy the world the first time, and we see the dietary law on the table. So now, go into Genesis chapter 9. Real simple. Genesis 9. Oh, this thing gonna fall. Genesis 9. All right. And we're going to pick this up at verse 1. And this is after the flood. Up until this point, we weren't eating, animals. We just eating herbs, okay? So now we're going to see the difference come in. So Genesis 9, pick it up at verse 1. What does it say, brother?
And God blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth. Okay, so now, one thing we just want to point out is that it was only 8 souls that got saved, sisters and brothers, during the flood. So it was Noah, his wife, and his 3 sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, okay? After the flood, these 3 sons and their wives, replenished the earth. And everybody come out from one of them. Like everybody in the world today, we come out either Ham, Shem, or Japheth. Us, in particular, come out of Shem. The Negro come out of Shem. All right? But I just want you to see here that Cain's seed is not around. All right? Cain's seed because sometimes you have brothers like to call white people you the seed of Cain, or you got the mark of Cain on you with that. Because that people will actually say white people have the mark of Cain on them. Cain's seed got wiped out before the flood, sisters and brothers. This is after the flood, okay? So he don't got no lineage down the line, all right? So it's going to be repopulated by those 3 sons. I just wanted to point that out. So it says in verse 2, and the fear, well, read that again. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth.
So now it's like in the beginning when Adam was able to, call and name the animals and stuff like that, it wasn't no fear there, wasn't no dread there, wasn't no Wasn't no enmity or hatred between man and animals at that time. But now after the flood, let's see what's going to happen. And the way you know that is because if it was enmity and hatred between man and animals, then it wouldn't be no need for God to put this out here now. It would have already been that way, right? So this is letting you know that, okay, well, evidently it wasn't this way before. That's why he says, and the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and what else?
And upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered.
Keep reading.
Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you. Even as the green herb have I given you all things.
Okay, so now what does he mean by that? He said even as the green herb, because he said every moving thing that lives shall be meat for you, right? Even as the green herb. And the reason why I wanted to point this out, because that's what we used to eat before we started eating animals. We were eating herbs. So now, after the flood, now the Lord going to introduce animals now for us to eat, right? But look at what he say. He say, look, every moving thing that lives shall be meat for you. So, are we talking about everything? Everything that's what? That's clean, right? You see how simple that is? Everything that's clean. Because we know that, look, if it's clean and unclean, then Noah knows that, right? But he already knows the Lord ain't talking about unclean. If it's okay for him to eat anything, then the Lord shouldn't even separate it clean and unclean. He separated clean and unclean, and what we can eat as far as moving is concerned is the stuff that's clean, sisters and brothers. All right? So he said, look, every moving thing that lives shall be meat for you, even as the green herb. So that should let you know we can eat herbs and we can eat what else?
Meat.
We can eat meat too, right? All right, so don't be coming around here tripping with all that veggie stuff. Looking at us like we just the scum of the earth because we eat some beef and chicken. Some people be doing that too. You be trying to eat. Well, you know you shouldn't eat that. It got this in it. Look, man, your vegetables got something in it too. It's called pesticides. Yeah, they spray stuff on it. But just try to do the best of what God say, right? Because at the end of the day, look, we got scattered into captivity. And you're going to eat the defiled bread of Gentiles whether you want to or not. That don't mean go out there and just be like, well, I'm going to eat me some Italian sausage then. No, that ain't what that means. You just do the best you can. But in other words, hey, they don't serve no God. They ain't no telling what they got in there. Even though the ingredient might say something else, they might flip the script inside the warehouse of the factory. You just do the best you can. But he said, look, every moving thing that lives shall be meat for you, even as the green herb have I given you all things. What else? Verse 4.
But flesh with the life thereof.
Okay, so we coming back to this, right? Because I think we saw it in Leviticus 17, didn't it? Where the Lord told you don't eat that blood, didn't he? That was set aside for him. But he going to address it again, let you know you ain't got no business eating this at all. He said, look, but flesh with the life thereof, which is what?
Which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat.
So you can't be eating no raw meat. You know, got blood in it, you can't eat that, sisters and brothers. You need to cook your meat or your food all the way. What did he say in verse 5?
And surely your blood of your lives will I require at the hand of every beast.
So now, not only is he going to require the lives of the beasts by us, like we kill beasts, don't we? But he say, I'm going to have them kill you too. That's why you can't be trying to go pet a lion. You know, I know they do that stuff in the circus, but every now and then them animals flip out, don't they? Mm-hmm. Y'all see them nice elephants and stuff. They be looking all nice. The people be training them and stuff, and they make them perch up on the little stool and stuff. Then later on, you go watch another video. You got an elephant taking his horns and ramming through cars, flipping cars over, coming at people. Because, hey, that's how God got it set up. So I'm not going to try to pet them at all. I don't even want to be around them because they might flip out. You got to be careful with dogs, too. I say Rottweilers. I ain't going to say pits. I got one. But he said, look, and surely your blood of your lives will I require, right? At the hand of every beast will I require it, and at the hand of man, at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. So now we just going to have death going on all over the place. We're going to be killing each other. Animals are going to be coming at us. We're going to be killing animals too. But we see that now the Lord is going to introduce where we can eat meat now, sisters and brothers. So now let's go into Romans chapter 14. Romans 14. Because now we're just going to look at a few misunderstandings. Some can be misunderstandings. Some can be outright lies. But whatever the case is, we're going to address it. Romans chapter 14. Romans 14. And by the Lord talking to Noah, sisters and brothers, it wasn't necessary for him to tell him. You know, when he pointed out to him he can eat every moving thing, it's not necessary for the Lord to point out to him. It ain't necessary for him to say, but I'm not talking about the things that are unclean. It ain't necessary. He already know what he's talking about. Just like in Romans chapter 14 here. Romans 14, pick this up at verse 1. What does it say, brother?
Him that is weak in the faith receive ye.
So the first thing we have to understand, we're dealing with people that are what? In the faith. Not, well, all of them ain't weak, but I'm saying we talking about people that are in the word. That's why it says him that is weak in the faith, right? So that's just like me talking to Brother Joseph here about Brother Harvey. Joseph being in the word for a long time, I say to Brother Joseph, I'm writing y'all a letter. I'm a long way from here, and I'm writing a letter. I'm saying to Brother Joseph, brother, hey, him that is weak in the faith, receive him, but not to doubt for disputations. All right? So that's all we saying here. Somebody that's weak in the word, you're going to deal with them accordingly, in other words. So I say, look, him that is weak in the faith, receive ye, but not to doubtful disputations. Things that going to have y'all going back and forth and fighting over. Y'all don't need to be going through all that, okay? Receive them. Go ahead and read. What else?
For one believeth that he may eat all things. Another, who is weak, eateth herbs.
Now, is it necessary for us to go into clean and unclean right here? Was it necessary for God to go into clean and unclean when he told Noah you can eat all moving things? Because we already know if there's a dietary law out there, right? We already know it's clean and unclean, right? And we talking to people that in the faith. Look, the Bible ain't addressing Sunday Christians. They ain't got nothing to do with this. We talking about people that are dealing with the word of God. So he said, look, him that is weak in the faith, receive ye, but not to doubt for disputations. For one believe that he may eat all things. What are we talking about when we say all things? We talking about herbs and meat included, sisters and brothers. So you got one that believes he may eat all things, and what the other one believes?
Another who is weak, eat herbs.
So the other one that's weak where? Weak in the faith. He just thinks that all we can eat is herbs. But we just addressed that, didn't we? We saw in Genesis that the Lord, he done put it all on the table now, right? But somebody that's weak in the faith, somebody that's new, that ain't really, that's struggling with it, or just learning, and sometimes they ain't got to be absolutely new. It be some people that be in the word and all of a sudden they go look at stuff online when they should be at church. Go look at stuff online and then all of a sudden you done discovered something. At the end of the day, you not going to stop death. Okay, how much you try to eat vegetables and herbs, when it's your time to go, you going to go. Period. Just keep the dietary law like God say. And I'm not promoting eating them big old chickens either. Them things are huge, man. We try to go out to the market and try to get it fresh as possible, decaf, but I hate getting stuff from Walmart and Kroger. Them things, man, the strawberries look like apples. My wife gave me a grape this morning talking about it was a table grape. I'm like, that look like a finger. It's like that. What's a table grape? I remember regular grapes. I don't know about it. I was suspicious about it. I said, well, we're going to let my little niece check it out first. Forgive me, Cena. I love y'all. So it said, look, let me get back to the lesson before I get in trouble. So it said, look, let not him, well, read 3. Go ahead and read it.
Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not.
Uh-huh.
And let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth.
Okay, so now, because reason why we want to come into this, look at this, sisters and brothers, because sometimes, people use this right here to try to make you feel bad for letting them know that you don't eat unclean things. They try to come here and say stuff like, well, whatever I esteem to be clean or unclean, like we have that power to do that. But that ain't what Romans 14 is talking about, sisters and brothers. So it said, let not him that eat despise him that eat not, and let not him which eat not judge him that eat, for God does what?
Receive them.
Okay, so now all we talking about, the one that, he said, let not him that eat despise him that eat not. So in other words, if I eat meat, I eat herbs, I'm not going to hound on the brother. I'm not going to despise the brother that just eat herbs, right? That would be the weaker brother. And the one that just eat herbs, don't despise me because I eat meat and herbs. I eat all things, so don't be tripping on me, right? But we still in the faith, though. Go on and read. What else?
Who art thou that judgest another man's servant?
Uh-huh.
To his own master he standeth or falleth.
Right, so in other words, so who are we to be, judging what that brother do? Either or, though. Because we both got to answer to God, right? Mm-hmm. That's why he says, who art thou that judge another man's servant to his own master, he stand or fall? Go on and read.
Yea, he shall be holding up, for God is able to make him stand.
Uh-huh.
One man esteemeth one day above another.
So now what he's going to do is he's just going to go into giving you an example, because they also like to use this right here to say that the Sabbath day can be any day, right? But what the Lord is going to do, he's just going to give you an example, an analogy to make it easy for you to understand how somebody may feel about meat, whether they like eating meat or not, or whether somebody like eating meat and herbs. He's just going to flip the script and say, well, in other words, one man esteemed one day above another. Go ahead and read.
Another esteemeth every day alike.
Uh-huh.
Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind.
Right, so you may have somebody that may decide, well, I don't want to eat meat. I just want to deal with herbs. Just like you may have somebody that may look at an anniversary of theirs. They might want to honor their anniversary. Somebody else may look at your anniversary as like, it's just a regular day, man. I don't pay that no attention. You know how some people celebrate their birthdays, right? Then you have some people that don't celebrate birthdays, but the point is, it's up to each individual. We ain't talking about the Sabbath day. Got nothing to do with the Sabbath day. So he says that one man esteem one day above another, another esteem every day alike. You got, like I said, you got some people celebrate birthdays, some people don't. But you don't hear issues coming from people that celebrate birthdays. The problem be from the people that don't celebrate birthdays. They be tripping on us. Well, you shouldn't be doing that. Because Pharaoh back in the day, I'm like, look, dude. And then on Herod, he brought John the Baptist's head on the top. Dude, what that got to do with us? If I want to thank God and celebrate me making it to another year, what's the problem? Ain't no problem, right? That's all we talking about. He just giving an example, but we still dealing with the subject of somebody eating meat and not eating meat, right? One eating herbs, being weak, and the other one not being weak, knowing that he can eat all things. He just break off into an example. One man esteem one day above another, another esteem every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. What else to say?
He that regardeth the day regardeth it unto the Lord.
Keep reading.
And he that regardeth not the day to the Lord, he doeth not regard it.
That's right. Keep reading.
He that eateth to the Lord, for he giveth God thanks.
Right, so in other words, look, you ain't got to answer to me, I ain't got to answer to you. We both serve God, right? He that regard the day regarded unto the Lord, and he that regard not the day to the Lord, he regarded not, he doth not regard it. He that eat, back to the subject at hand. He say, look, he that eat to the Lord, for he does what?
And to the Lord,
for he give God thanks.
He giveth God thanks. For none of us liveth to himself.
For he give God thanks, and he that eat not
where you at?
To the Lord, he eat not and give God thanks, right? So back to what I was saying, look, we just we don't need to be worrying about that. We don't need to be tripping on this type of stuff because we all in the Word of God, sisters and brothers. But that's what this is. That's all this is talking about. We got some people in the Word, and the issue is, or what Paul is addressing, y'all shouldn't be fighting over this. Y'all shouldn't be fighting over that. You shouldn't be upset with another brother if he's eating meat and herbs. Because a lot of the times the issue comes from the person that it be the person that's weak in the faith. It be the person that just eat herbs. They be the one that going around and checking everybody's plate. You know, you be feeling like, oh God, I can't eat this. It don't be the one that that's strong in the faith. But the point is, look, that shouldn't be a problem at all, sisters and brothers, because God has let us know we can eat. You know, gave us certain things we can eat, but this has nothing to do with you being able to eat anything, though. That's like I said, either it's a misunderstanding in the Bible or it's just a downright lie. Because they will say, because of this, I can eat what I want to eat. You eat what you want to eat. And I'm not talking about in the faith no more. I'm talking about outside. People like to come here to use this to justify eating pork, to justify eating catfish and shrimp and lobsters and stuff like that. They justify by using this, just like they use this to say the Sabbath can be any day. It's any day I consider to be the Sabbath. You have your Sabbath, I have my Sabbath. Where is that at in the Bible? You're not going to find that nowhere. Read that.
Let us not, therefore, judge one another any more, but judge this rather, that no man put a stumbling block or an occasion to fall in his brother's way. I know and am persuaded by the Lord Jesus that there is nothing unclean of itself, but to him that esteemeth any